Hello, welcome back to 1969 Payoff Pitch Baseball. It is Monday, April the 14th, and the Orioles are in Boston at Fenway Park to take on the Red Sox once again. We have a rematch of the same pitching matchup that we had the first video I recorded, Ray Culp versus Mike Cuellar. In that one, as you recall, Ray Culp got beat up pretty good and the Orioles were victorious. So they come into the game 4-2. They split a 4-game series with the Washington Senators, 2-2. The 1969 Senators have a very good team this year, not nearly as good as the Orioles, but with new manager Ted Williams, they're making quite a stir. And we head to Washington for 4 games after this series, this 4-game series in Boston. Meanwhile, Boston went to Cleveland and took 2 of 3, so they are at 2-3 coming into the game. In the National League, I've been replaying the Reds, and they took 3 of 4 from Atlanta, and they stand at 4-2 as well. So both teams I'm managing are 4-2, and then the Reds have a series in Cincinnati with the Giants, but because of rainouts, they only end up playing 1 game tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 15th. So we have the Baltimore Orioles against the Boston Red Sox in Fenway Park. So let's get going. So as I've said before, I'm using Action Replay Baseball's computer to input the stats. To me, for cards and dice, there's no better computer game than the replay, and I enjoy the cards and dice as well, but the payoff pitch has really grabbed my imagination with the pitcher batter interface, the interaction, in my opinion, and I've only been playing this about 2 or 3 weeks. In my opinion, it's the best interaction there is, and so I'm enjoying it very much. So let's get started. So Don Buford will lead off here in the top of the first. He is batting .263 with 1 RBI. He does have a .417 on base percentage, so he is getting some walks. So 6 is tough. 89 is in the out range, and that will be a fly out to Tony Conigliaro in right field. And this game is underway. Out number 1. And that brings up Paul Blair, who's batting .320 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. The Baltimore center fielder. So 8 is tough, and that is a 7. And that would be a strikeout. The 2 D6s are even, so I say that's strikeout swinging. Again, just adding a bit of realism for myself. So if the 2 D12s are even, it's swinging. If they're odd, it's looking. So Culp fools Blair with that payoff pitch. And then in my scorebook, I underline it if it's swinging, and then there's nothing if it's looking. So again, just little added things that make the game more fun for me. So with 2 outs, Frank Robinson will step in. Mr. Robinson is a .304 average with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And we get another tough. Oh, and we've got 0-0, so that will be a rare play. And 8 on the rare play. We have a rain delay. If 0-2, the game is rained out. I don't believe I can do a rain out on the replay. And again, I'm doing as played. Quite often on my replays, I'll just put the traded players on the team they played with the most. But this one, I didn't know a whole lot about the 1969 season, so I'm wanting to learn about it. So I'm doing as played, taking the liberties to make changes inside of the lineup of the Orioles and the Reds. So I'm using whoever they played, but I will change the lineup around. So I'm going to ignore that one because with the rain delay, I don't think that would work with as played and me doing with replay. So let's re-roll. 7 is in play, 26, and that will be a single for Frank Robinson, and 6 on the single, so he hits a ground ball up the middle. So his jump rating is 4. We rolled a 7, so he is not able to get a lead. He is a B stealer, so when he is able to get a lead, he can steal some. So that brings up Boog Powell, who's batting 190, but he does have 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. So with 2 out, Ray Culp will see if he can take care of Mr. Powell. In play again. Okay, we got the 30. As you can see, I put a little black dot on the 3 there so I can remember to do the wild pitch check. So Ray Culp's wild pitch rating is 30, so that will not be a wild pitch. So in play 38 will be into the out range, and that's a ground ball back to the pitcher. So Culp grabs it, throws it on to Ken Harrelson, and that is the 3rd out of the 1st inning. So it's no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 runner left. And we go to the home half of the 1st. Baltimore nothing. Red Sox coming up to bat. So Mike Cuellar has the only game he started was that one against the Red Sox. And he pitched 9 innings, gave up 1 earned run. Got the victory, so he is 1-0 with a 1 ERA, and he'll lead off against Reggie Smith, who is off to a very good start, batting .500 with a home run and 4 RBIs. So here comes the left-handed Cuellar to the switch-hitting Reggie Smith. So 7 is a tough out, so that's an automatic out. So on tough, that would have been a single, but we will go down to 37. So he grounds out to Mike Cuellar. Underhands it to Boog Powell. And there's 1 away. Mike Andrews is 200 with a home run and 4 RBIs. .11 is the ballpark. In Fenway Park against righties. You need 1 to 54 to get in the wheelhouse, and we rolled a 74, so that will be in play for Mike Andrews. And so 1 to 32 in play will be a base hit, and he gets a 97. And so that's a fly ball out to Buford and left, and there are quickly 2 away. I know the 4-game series in Atlanta with the Reds, that ballpark is named the launching pad for good reason. I think it was like 1 to 97 against righties was a wheelhouse. But here, not so much. Baltimore is a little bit more of a pitcher's park than this one. So anyway, Carl Yastrzemski is off to a rough start this year. He's 118, no home runs and no RBIs. So the Red Sox obviously want him to get in gear. 8 is in play, 39. That will go into the out columns, and that's a ground ball to 3rd. And then I do the Saturday dice if it's unassisted, and it is. So he hits it to Powell. Powell takes it to the base himself. And Cuellar retires the Red Sox in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. So we head to the top of the 2nd. 0-0. Ray Culp obviously trying to do better than he did when he was in Baltimore. So Ellie Hendricks steps to the plate. He is batting 182 with RBI and 11 at-bats. 6 is tough. 41. That will be a single. So he takes a tough pitch and is able to hit a sharp liner in front of the left fielder. So he hits it the opposite direction. Yastrzemski throws it back in, and the Orioles have the leadoff man on base to lead off the second. So Hendricks is a 2F, so we got a 6. So he will not get a lead. And that brings up Brooks Robinson, who is a very good bunter, but he only had 3 sacrifice hits for the year. So we'll let him hit away. His error rate or double play rating is 7, and Culp's is 8. Now let's do the hit and run. Let's try to be crazy. Looks like the Orioles are thinking bunt. They've got George Scott in at third base, so that could be to our advantage. So 12 is patient. 41 on patient will be a single. So that's a 1. So that's a sharp liner that falls in front of the left fielder. On 6, you only get 1 base, but let's see. Okay, we did get patient. So on patient, you come to the hit and run chart, and then you go off of this. So let's see, patient. So 41 will be a ground ball to second base, and the runners advance. So having him hit and run cost a hit. So Hendricks advances to second base. I keep remembering on the hit and run, if you get into the wheelhouse or patient, you use this chart instead. I know the other day I cost Frank Robinson a home run. He ended up with a double. But so there are some advantages and disadvantages to these strategies. So Robinson is out 4-3. And that will bring up Davey Johnson, who is off to a very good start. He's batting .364 with 3 RBIs, .417 on base percentage. Six is tough, 06, and that will be a strikeout swinging. Big out for Ray Culp. She gets the second out. It brings up Mark Bellinger. So you've got first base open. Mike Cuellar is only a 3-hitter, so I believe they are going to give Mark Bellinger a free pass here. So they throw 4 pitches. This is 1969. Do it the way it's supposed to be done. So 4 pitches, 4 balls, and Bellinger finds himself at first base with 2 outs. So Mike Cuellar is 0 for 3 so far this year at the plate, looking to help his own cause here. 4 is tough, 92, and that's a strikeout swinging. So Ray Culp is able to get out of trouble as the Orioles get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left. Go to the bottom of the second, still no score. So Ken Harrelson comes to the plate. He is batting .150 with 1 home run, 1 RBI. He will be headed to Cleveland here pretty shortly, which wasn't a popular move for the Boston fans. But he will lead off here the second against Mike Cuellar. So that would be a 9, which is tough. 40 on tough is going against a lefty. Now that would have been a double against a right-handed pitcher, but as a lefty, it is off. So obviously, Harrelson struggles against lefties, even though he is a righty. So at any rate, 40 on the out column will be a ground ball to third base. Brooks Robinson will toss it on over to Powell. Mike Cuellar retires the 4th batter in a row to start off here. So Tony Conigliaro who is returning to action this year after having been beamed in '67 in the face with a pitch, which was pretty bad. I believe he missed all of 1968. So he is back at it here in 1969. So far, he's batting .211, a home run, 1 RBI. Has struck out 6 times in 19 at-bats, so it's not off to the greatest start. So we have an in-play 53 against a lefty. I have to remember Cuellar's a lefty. 53 will be another ground out to Robinson. And 2 away. George Scott is batting .333, a home run, 2 RBIs. So we are 2-0 against the Red Sox so far, winning the first 2 games of the season. 4 is patient, 18, that probably will be a walk. Against a lefty, it is. So George Scott waits him out, doesn't get the pitch he likes, and gets the first base runner for Boston of the game. So he has a 3 jump rating, rolled a 4, so close. But he's not able to get the lead he needs to try to steal. And so Petrocelli is off to a pretty bad start, but he had a great year, so hopefully he won't get hot until we get out of town. So far he's batting .105 with 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. There's 2 outs here with George Scott on first. That's a defense 08. I'm not using the faxed action cards. I'm doing all dice this game. I tend to like it better most of the time. So 08 will be a range check on the second baseman. Davy Johnson is a C. I was thinking he was a B. Davy Johnson. Nope, he's a C. I must be thinking of Tommy Helms for the Reds. When you're doing 2 teams at once, it can get a little confusing. So anyway, Davy Johnson is a C and range, so 1 to 46 is a hit. Anything past that will be an out. So he rolls a 61, so that will be an out. And then we check the out. 9 will be a ground ball. And so with 2 outs, he will take it to first. And Cuellar leaves George Scott on first base. So after 2 complete, still no score. Don Buford will lead off here in the 3rd, top of the order for the Orioles. He flied out Tony Conigliaro to lead off the game. He gets a tough pitch, 37, and that will be a single. So on the runner advancement here, a 7 is a hard ground ball into his field, so that would be to right field. So he hits a hard grounder between Andrews and Harrelson. Conigliaro picks it up, tosses it back in to Petrocelli. And the Orioles start off the 3rd with a single. So he needs a 4 to get a lead, and we have an 8, so that will not cut it. So we'd have Paul Blair. Paul Blair had, I'm pretty sure, all 7 of his RBIs that game against Culp. So he's obviously a good hitter. He had 13 sacrifice hits. If you automatically do it, 10 to 11 would be, but I do the stolen base automated, but I do the hit and run and the sacrifices as I see fit. So I think I'm going to try to have Blair sacrifice him over here. We got Robinson, Powell, and Hendricks coming up. So they do have George Scott in at 3rd base. So the way I play it is, the rules are that having the infield in doesn't change the bunt rating at all. So the way I play it is if they hit it to somebody who is in, then it drops the rating down 1. So, like, for example, if he hits it to Culp, the pitcher, or Gibson, the catcher, because they don't change their position, it would be the same. But with George Scott in at third, then that would be one less. So, anyway, Blair's going to try to sacrifice him over. So he hits a 5, which is to the third baseman. So he will. So he's actually a C bunter, so that'll drop him down to a D. And we rolled a 10 on D, so that will get the lead runner. So Scott was in close enough. He grabs it and fires it to Andrews. Actually, it would be to Petrocelli. I don't know if I have that option here on replay input. Let's see, that'd be 5-6. Oh, they do have that option. Cool. All right. So Buford is out 5-6 for the first out. Blair is on a fielder's choice on the bunt. Now, we didn't roll 2 D12s or 2 D6s, so I've got to see if he gets a lead, which is 4, and he doesn't. All right, so Blair's at first with 1 out, and Frank Robinson will step to the plate. He singled in the first. 12 is patient, 34 against the righty, and Robinson will draw the walk. So Frank Robinson has been on base 2 times in a row. And that will bring up the ever-dangerous Boog Powell, who has got all 6 of his RBIs on home runs. He's hit 2 3-run home runs, but he's only had 4 hits all year. So the Red Sox are at double play depth. So 11 is defense, 75. So that will be an error rating on the shortstop. Petrocelli is a 5, which is a very good error rating. So 1-22 will be an error. And we hit a 68, so that will be an out. We rolled an 8 on the 6s. So that would be a ground out, runner's advance. So that's a slow roller to Petrocelli. The only play he has is at first base. So at least Boog Powell advances the runners. So that'll put Blair at third. Robinson heads on to second. And 2 outs. Ellie Hendricks will step to the plate. So they have first base open. But Hendricks is not that great of a hitter. He's not as much as Brooks Robinson. So they're going to go take their chances with Hendricks, who has singled, made it to second base, but was left stranded there in the second inning. So the Orioles looking for a clutch base hit here from Ellie Hendricks. 6 is tough, 73. So that will be a fly ball to center field. So Reggie Smith catches the can of corn, and Culp gets out of another jam. So for the second inning in a row, the Orioles have left 2 runners on. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 runners left. So in 3 innings, the Orioles have left on 5 base runners. So that is not good. So 8, 9, and 1 will be hitting in the third here for the Red Sox. Russ Gibson is 200 with no home runs, no RBIs. He gets an in-play 45 against the lefty. Will be in the out range. And that's a fly ball to right field. So Robinson takes it for out number 1. So Ray Culp is a 6-hitter. He hit 152 with 1 home run in real life and 79 at bats. So he can handle the bat a little bit. So far, he hasn't had any at bats yet because he got knocked out pretty early back in Baltimore in his 1 start so far. So that's a tough 70 against the lefty, and that is a strikeout looking. So Culp is fooled by that one. And there are 2 away. Reggie Smith hit a bouncer back to Cuellar to lead off the first. So with 2 outs here, he's looking for a 2-out rally. So we got 9 tough, 77, and that will be a fly ball to center field. And Blair will range to his right and make the play. So Cuellar is coasting along here, his second 1-2-3 inning in 3 innings. And after 3, we still are scoreless. So both pitchers are getting it done. Culp the hard way. So Brooks Robinson bounced out to Andrews at second. His first at bat. So we got an 8, which is tough, 21 against a righty, and that is a strikeout swinging. So that's just the 3rd strikeout for Robinson this year. But he missed that one. There's one away. Davey Johnson was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd. So we got a patient 37 against a righty, and that will be a single. And 7 on the single digit. 9 is a hard ground ball into left field. So it gets by Scott. And Davey Johnson continues to hit well. He's 375 for the season. All right, now we have a 12 on the lead roll here, which is a pickoff opportunity. So on the pickoff chart, Culp's hold rating is a 7. So that means 30 to 99 he's safe. 0 to 9 is a possibility of him throwing it away. And then 10 to 29, Davey Johnson is caught napping. So that's a 36. And so that's not a 7's not a great hold rating. So he is back in safely. So Mark Bellinger with 1 out will come to the plate. Seven is in play. We have a 30, which is his wild pitch rating. So Ray Culp throws one to the backstop, and Davey Johnson will head on to first, or second rather. Let's see, that is Ray Culp's first wild pitch of the season. So that's a wild pitch. That would be Culp's first wild pitch of the year. So they got first base open. However, there's only 1 out. So I think they're going to take their chances with Bellinger, because you don't want the top of the Baltimore lineup if you can help it. So Bellinger will see if he can drive in Dave Johnson from second base. Culp trying to get out of trouble again. So that's an in-play 39. Oh, actually, we were supposed to use the roll we got on the wild pitch, but I can't remember what it was. So 7, so I messed up there. 39, and in play will be a ground ball to third. And the way the rules state that ground ball to third, you're not able to advance to third. So Scott looks him back, throws on to Harrelson, and Mark Bellinger fails to deliver. So with 2 outs, Mike Cuellar, who struck out swinging to end the second. Oh, hang on a sec. They put Johnson to third, and I don't want that. So let's erase that. Go back to detail. Single. Oh. Hang on a second here. I put it into the replay computer game wrong. So detail. So he grounded out. 5, 2, 3, and Johnson holds. It automatically advances the runner if you use the 5-3. All right. So Cuellar's up, 2 outs. Davy Johnson on second base. We get a 6, which is tough. 60. And Cuellar strikes out swinging once again. So another runner left. And go to the bottom of the 4th. Still no score. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And the Orioles have left their 6th runner on. So leading off the 4th for the Red Sox will be Mike Andrews. He flied out to Don Buford in left field in the first inning. Leading off the 4th here. Cuellar's sailing along. So 5 is tough. 14 against the lefty is a strikeout looking. Cuellar paints the corner with an awesome fastball. And that will be his 2nd strikeout of the game. Ray Culp being the other one, both looking. Cole Yastrzemski hit to Powell unassisted, his first at bat. 9 is tough. 96 will be a fly ball to right field. Robinson takes a few steps back, and quickly there are 2 away. Ken Harrelson. He was out 5-3, his first plate appearance. 7 is a tough out, so 82. And he grounds out to Bellinger at shortstop to end the inning. So both pitchers pitching blanks. We go to the top of the 5th. Top of the Oriole lineup here in the 5th. Orioles looking to get something started, seeing if they can actually have got started. They just need to finish something off here. Don Buford is 1 for 2. $11 is defense, 34. So 34 will be a range check for the right fielder, which is Tony Canigliaro. He is a D. So range D, 1-56 will be a hit for Buford. Oh, 65. So that's an out. So 5 to the right fielder. There's a short fly. So Canigliaro races in and is able to get there and make a fine play. One away for the Orioles. Paul Blair is struck out swinging and failed on a bunt attempt in the 3rd. Swinging away here, obviously. 5 is ballpark, 47, and that will be in the wheelhouse for Paul Blair. So against righties, 1-55 is a homer. 48, and he takes he takes Culp deep again. Boy, this guy has Culp's number. So that's the 3rd home run by Blair, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of those. Let's see. All 3 of those have been against Culp. Let's see. Yep, they sure are. He hit 2 home runs the first 2 at bats on Thursday the 10th. So 3rd time in a row, Paul Blair has taken Ray Culp deep. Too bad there wasn't runners on. So in real life, I imagine his next time up, he probably would find himself on his rear after taking him deep 3 times. Alrighty. So the Orioles are on the board. And Frank Robinson, who is singled and walked, but has been left stranded both times. We'll see what he can do with Ray Culp here. 7 is in play, 66. He bounces it to Andrews. Throws on to Harrelson, and there is one away. Well, that's the second out of the inning. So Boog Powell has grounded out twice, once to the pitcher and once to Petrocelli at short. So he gets a patient 62 versus the righty, and that is just one past the single. He needed a 61 or less to get on base, so a 62 is a fly ball to left. And Yastrzemski catches it to retire the side. So the Orioles do get on the board with one hit, one run, no errors, and nobody left. So the Orioles take the lead. Put the card out of the way there till we need it again. All right, 5, 6, and 7 will bat in the fifth here for the Red Sox. Tony Conigliaro is grounded out to third, his first at bat. 3 is defense 07, and that will be a range check for the second baseman. As we have discovered earlier, Davy Johnson is a C. So here in Fenway, 1 to 46 will be a hit. So that's an 86. So Davy Johnson is able to make a fine play. The out on a 9 is going to be a ground ball. So Davy Johnson is able to get to it and make a fine play. One away. George Scott has been the only base runner today for the Red Sox. He walked with 2 outs in the second. 7 is a tough out, so 77 is a fly ball to center field. Two away. Rico Petrocelli grounded out to second to end the second. And he is looking in, so we got a defense 71. That will be an error check on the third baseman. Brooks Robinson is a 4. So 1 to 30 is an error. 31 to 99. Brooks Robinson makes the play. So that's a 72, and he does. 4 will be a line out. So a hard liner. Robinson dives and snags it. Been a lot of videos of Brooks Robinson doing that in World Series. So that's a line out to third base. And Cuellar continues to baffle Red Sox hitters. Orioles have a good pitching staff. 69, the offense rebounded quite a bit from 68 over league-wide. But the Orioles still managed to put together a very good pitching staff. Alrighty. Ray Culp will take the mound here in the top of the 6th. His fatigue rating is 8, but as long as he doesn't allow 3 runs, he can go till he does. That's one thing. A lot of different games have different fatigue ratings, and this one is simple enough, but it works for me. Again, I know everybody has different ideas about what that should look like. There's some of them are really complicated, and you have to calculate a lot of different things, and this one just seems to work, especially with older baseball where pitching, the pitchers went much longer, much less relief specialist. I don't know that it would work quite as well with the newer game, the brand of baseball they play now. But for the 69 season and what I played in 54, I like the fatigue. It works for me. And one thing about this game, it's very, you can fine-tune it. It's very tweakable. And I've made some tweaks on my own, and I'll probably adjust some other things as I go along. But again, really enjoying it. To me, the pitcher-batter interface is what makes it. So anyway, Ellie Hendricks has singled and flied out. That's a tough 27, and he strikes out swinging. So Culp has had a good day. Except for that homer to Blair. He's got out of a jam quite a few times. Brooks Robinson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. After making that fine play in the field last inning. 4 is tough. 26 against a righty, and he gets a base hit. 6 on the base hit is a grounder up the middle. So Robinson splits the infield and is on first base with 1 out. Let's see, he's an A stealer, but he only has 2 on his jump rating. And we rolled a 4, so he is not able to get a jump. So he is on first base. Davey Johnson is 1 for 2. He's a 7 double play rating. Could hit and run here, but I'm going to let him hit away. 7 is in play, 07, and that will be a single. The way I do, again, there's not very many infield hits, so if there's a 1, there's an infield hit chance, and I do it if this number is lower than his run rating, and it's not. So I will go with what the game says it is. So 1, or a 7 rather, is a hard grounder into left field, and the 1, the runners only advance 1 base with 1 out. So a hard liner into left. Yastrzemski is able to keep Robinson at second base. And the Orioles are posing another threat. So again, the game has, except for like rare play, there's just no infield singles, and that seems unnatural to me. So I kind of devised, my own, because on the advancement, 1 is the only one where everybody advances 1 base. So to me, that's the opportunity to make, an infield single. So again, if the quicker they are, the more likely they are to get the infield single. So that's just how I do it. And then also on 2, there's just 2 bases on a double. So I roll a decider die, and if it's yes, then that's a ground rule double, because that's not built into the game either that I know of. So again, feel free to chime in if anybody has any comments or questions. I learn from how other people play, so hopefully, this gives people some ideas to enjoy the game more. All right, well, so 2 outs, or 1 out rather. Mark Bellinger, who was intentionally walked and grounded out, will come to the plate. The Red Sox are at double play depth. Mark Bellinger's double play rating is 6. So an 8 is a tough 22, and he strikes out swinging. Big strikeout for Culp. So Culp continues to deliver in the clutch here. So he gets the 2nd out, and will have to face Cuellar to get the 3rd. And Cuellar has struck out swinging twice already. He only batted 117 in 103 at-bats in real life. So 9 is patient, 25, and that's going to be a single. So Cuellar comes through. So a 25 on patient is a single, and 5. See what kind of single it is. It's a soft looper into short right field, and we got a 3. So the runner on second scores, but there are 2 outs, so that means the runner on third, or on first rather, is Johnson, and he just runs 6. I did change this. Another thing I did, they have it with 2 outs, runners rated 6 or higher go 2 bases, and as they've rated these, a lot of people, the pitchers are rated 6, for example. So I have made it that you have to have 7 or higher in order to automatically get that with 2 outs. So again, that's just me. I felt like it was too many guys were going from first to third, when in real life they probably wouldn't, even if they were running with the pitch. And with 2 outs, you're not always running with the pitch unless the count's full, So, but still, they are, they're less cautious than they are with 1 or 2 outs. So anyway, I changed that to you had to have a 7. So Johnson is a 6, so he doesn't automatically go to third. So he has a choice, and so he's going to hold up at second. With the top of the order up, he doesn't want to get thrown out at third for the third out. So that's a single. Brooks Robinson will score. And so Cuellar helps himself. So Robinson scores. Davy Johnson's at second. Mike Cuellar gets his first hit and RBI of the year. And the Orioles are up 2-0. With 2 outs and Don Buford. So we got the top of the order here. Buford is 1 for 3 today with a single. So Culp looking to get out without any further damage here in the 6th. Threw the dice way over there. So 10 is Tough, 88. So Tough against the righty is in the out range, and he grounds out to second base. With Cuellar running, Andrews will toss it to Petrocelli at short for the third out. So 4-6 for out number 3. Fielder's choice for Buford. So we get 1 more run on 3 base hits. There was no errors, and we left 2 on once again. So got 2 across the plate, but still missing some opportunities. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. We got 8, 9, and 1 coming up to hit here. Russ Gibson is 0 for 1 with a fly out. 11 is Ballpark, 55. So he just misses the wheelhouse, so he will go to in play. So in play for lefty, 1 through 25 will be a hit. And he gets an 8. So he gets a single. An 8. That's an opposite field liner. So Gibson hits it over Davy Johnson's head. Frank Robinson will throw it back into second. And the Red Sox get their first base hit of the day. I didn't want to mention the no-hitter going. That was bad luck. So that'll bring up Culp. So he's probably going to stay in the game. Again, his fatigue is 8. He had 9 complete games and 32 starts. So he is a C bunter. And we have Brooks Robinson in at third. So let's see what Culp can do here to advance the runner. So it's a 6, which I believe is the catcher. So Hendricks is he's one that gets it, and he rolled an 0-2. So obviously the catcher isn't in. His position doesn't change, so he will stay C. But 0-2 is a pop out. Batter pops out, runners hold. So Culp pops it up. Okay, and then I do a decide or die if it's foul or not. Because with the catcher, I say 50-50. Is it foul? Yes. So he fouls it out. It's a foul out to the catcher on a failed bunt. Foul out 2 on a bunt. Out number 1. All right. I didn't check to see if Gibson got a lead. He's a 2A, so let's give him a chance here. So he doesn't. All right, so Reggie Smith with 1 out. The Oriole defense would be at halfway. Could hit and run, but now they're 2 down. They're just going to try to see what they can do here. So 9 is Tough. 80 against the lefty. It'll be a fly ball to center field. 2 away. Mike Andrews is 0 for 2. So the Red Sox having a hard time getting anything going here against Cuellar. He did a pretty good job on him the last time they faced him. 6 is in play. 80 versus the lefty. It'll be a ground ball to shortstop with the slow Gibson at first. Bellinger will toss it to Davy Johnson at second base to retire the side. So the Red Sox are blanked again. So they do get their first hit at least. Top of the 7th, 2-0 Baltimore. So Paul Blair is up against Culp, and we'll pretend that Culp put Blair on his behind. So Blair will get back up and see if he can make him pay for it. So he's got a home run and 3 at-bats so far. 4 is tough, 45, and he will hit a single. 5 is a soft blooper into short left field. So he doesn't get all of it, but he gets enough of it. And Blair makes him pay for that brush back pitch. So Blair continues to have his way with Ray Culp. And he has a 4 jump, and that's what we got. So he is a B. Gibson is a 3. On the stolen base chart here, we are looking for B3. So that's a pretty good chance. So let's see what Blair can do here. So he gets a 25, and he is caught stealing. So Gibson makes a perfect throw. And he will nail Blair at second base, 2-4. So he had a good chance of swiping that one, but Gibson makes a perfect throw. There is one away. So Frank Robinson is 1 for 2 with a walk. Looking to add to the Oriole lead here. So it's tough, 63. Would be a ground ball to second base. Andrews throws on to Harrelson, and there are 2 away here in the 7th. Boog Powell 0 for 3. Trying to improve on that 167 batting average. He hit 304 in real life. 9 is patient. 27, and he will walk. He does have a .333 on base percentage, so he is getting his share of walks. So he's a 2 jump, and there's a 9, so he won't be going anywhere. Walks need to be green. So with 2 outs, Ellie Hendricks has singled in 3 at bats. Looking for a 2-out rally here. 7 is in play, 78. And that will be a fly ball to center field. Reggie Smith ranges to his right, puts it away. And Culp continues a pretty good game. He's not been able to outpitch Cuellar so far, but he is keeping the Red Sox close. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Here for the Boston faithful in beautiful Fenway Park. All right, Carl Yastrzemski. We got 3, 4, and 5. So this is a good opportunity for the Red Sox to see if they can get to Cuellar here. He's only given up a hit and a run so far, 2 strikeouts. Yastrzemski is 0 for 2. So we get a patient 78 versus the lefty. Lefty on lefty here. And Yastrzemski pops it up to Blair in center field. Cuellar gets the first out. The all-important first out. Ken Harrelson is grounded out twice. Once to third and once to shortstop. That's a 7, which would be a tough out. So 52 is not in the strikeout range. On the tough out, you still, if it's in the strikeout range, it's a strikeout. If not, then you go to the out. So he flies out to right field. So he goes the opposite way, but still doesn't find any grass. And there are 2 outs. Tony Conigliaro is grounded out twice. Four is patient, 36 versus the lefty, and that will be a walk. So Conigliaro reaches base with 2 outs. Let's see, he is a 3F. We have a 4, so he is not able to advance or try to make it to second. So George Scott, who has walked and flied out, let's see if he can get something going here with 2 away. It's Cuellar. 11 is ballpark. 40, and that will be wheelhouse. So this could be trouble. So against lefties, Scott is pretty good. He gets a 62, so he just gets a single. Boy, 1 to 52 would have been a homer. But 62, so he just gets a single. There's 2 outs. Conigliaro is a 6, so he won't automatically go to third, thanks to my new rule. So we did get a 5, however. So 5, the runner on first has a choice, and Conigliaro is not going to get thrown out at third because that runner on third is not going to help them much. So, and then the 2 is a line drive to left field, so hit right at Buford. So Conigliaro has to hold up at second. And the Red Sox have their first rally of the day. So 2 outs. They got runners on first and second. For Rico Petrocelli, who's a very dangerous hitter. He's 0 for 2 today, but for the year, in real life, he hit 297, 40 home runs, had a 403 on base percentage. So Cuellar has his work cut out here for him. 4 is patient, 41, and he walks. So the bases are loaded of Red Sox. And it's up to Russ Gibson. Red Sox could pinch hit here. Let's see what they got on the bench. George Thomas, Moses, and the other Conigliaro. I'm guessing that's his brother, or a relation of some sort. Let's see, I don't know. I'm going to use a decider die. Do they pinch hit? No. Okay, so I'm going to say they let Gibson hit away. So 6 is in play. 30. Okay, now that's the wild pitch, but Cuellar doesn't have a rating, so he gets by with a wild pitch there. He should have been 1. Most people would have thrown 1. Cuellar obviously didn't have any that year. So 30 is just out of the range, and he will bounce it to first base. Unassisted. No, he tosses it to Cuellar, and Cuellar is out of the jam. 3-1. So big opportunity there, and Russ Gibson is not able to deliver. Maybe the Red Sox, Dick Williams, should have pinch hit there. But hindsight is 20/20. So they got 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 3 on. So after 7 complete, it is still 2-0 Baltimore. So Ray Culp is in his fatigue inning, but he's only given up 2 runs. So he will stay in the game to face Brooks Robinson. He singled and scored back in the 6th on Mike Cuellar's single. 10 is tough. 90 will be a fly out to left So Brooks Robinson gets under it and hits it to Carl Yastrzemski for 1 out. Davey Johnson is 2 for 3 today. He's up to 400 on the season. So he is having a very good year so far. 9 is Patient, 43. And that will be a single. 3 is a sharp line drive into center field. So he hits it in front of Reggie Smith. And the Orioles have a 1-out runner, and Davey Johnson has his 3rd hit of the day. So he is a 3 on his jump. We got a 9, so he won't be going anywhere. Mark Bellinger. So the Red Sox have the bullpen up and going just in case Culp's not able to get out of the 8th here. 8 is Tough, 06, and he gets Bellinger swinging. The 2nd time in a row he has got Bellinger whiffing. So that will be 2 out, and he will face Mike Cuellar. So with a 2-hit shutout, Cuellar is going to stay in the game. And he did have a big clutch hit back in the 6th to give the Orioles their 2nd run. So 7 is in play, 57. That will be a ground ball to 2nd base. Andrews throws on to Harrelson to retire the side. And no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 runner left on. Go to the bottom of the 8th, and it is still 2-0 Orioles. So Cuellar, his fatigue rating is 8, and we're in the 8th. So, but he hasn't allowed any runs, so we're obviously going to pinch hit here for Culp. And we got a lefty on the hill. So let's go. I tried to use the best who had the most at bats. So Moses, bat 304, 326, and he had 135 at bats. So we're going to let him hit. So Jerry Moses, he is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts so far this year. But as you saw, he was a much better hitter than that. So I gotta find him. Oh, he was 2nd there. So if it was a snake, it would have bit me. So Jerry Moses. Right-hander. He actually didn't do as well against lefties, but you can see a good majority of his at-bats were against lefties. So he pinches hit. He is a 6-3 F. So let's see what he can do against Cuellar here in the bottom of the 8th. That's a tough out. So 13 is a strikeout and 7's looking. So Cuellar fools him with that one, and Moses doesn't even get the bat off his shoulders. So he strikes out looking for out number 1. Put him back up there. So Reggie Smith, who's 0 for 3, seeing if he can get something going here to excite the Boston fans. 8 is in play, 37 against a lefty, and he will get a hit. So he's very good against lefties. So 8 or a 7 will be a hard grounder into left field. So Reggie Smith gets the 3rd hit of the day for the Red Sox. Let's see, he is a 4 jump, and we got an 8, so he won't be going anywhere. Mike Andrews. We don't want to hit and run. Let's give them, they need 2 runs, so getting Smith. They need base runners, so we don't want to cut down their chances on that. I think the hit and run does that. 6 is in play, 29 against a lefty, and that would, if he had a righty, he'd have got it. But against a lefty, 29 will be a ground ball to the pitcher. His double play rating is 5, and we got a 6 there. So that won't be a double play, but that will be a fielder's choice. So that would be 1-6. So Cuellar tosses it to Bellinger, and he is upended by Reggie Smith, not able to get the throw on to first. And so Carl Yastrzemski steps to the plate. 0 for 3. Lefty on lefty here. Yastrzemski struggles against lefties, but Dick Williams had him in the lineup anyway. 7 is a tough out, 96. And that will be a fly out to right field in the inning. So once again, Red Sox not able to figure out Cuellar. No runs on a hit. 1 runner left. Top of the 9th. So the Red Sox need a new pitcher, so they're still pretty close. Sparky Lyle is their closer, and he hasn't pitched this year yet, according to the thing here, which seems odd. Let's bring him in. Yep, he hasn't pitched yet. So we will give him his chance. So he will face the top of the Oriole lineup. So Culp is a righty, so it's Sparky Lyle is a lefty. So let's get him out of here. I like to put my pitchers back in order by game started. Looks like Culp was their main starter. So Sparky Lyle. So far he has yet to pitch. He had a very good year in real life, 8-3 with 17 saves, a 2.54 ERA. So he will face his first batter of the season against Don Buford. Buford is 1 for 4. 9 is in play. 0-9 against a lefty is a single. 9 is a long single into the gap in left center field. Yastrzemski races over and is able to cut it off and hold Buford at first. So Sparky Lyle is greeted rudely here in the first, or the 9th inning rather. Now, what did I do that for? That wasn't an infield hit. I underline it if it's an infield hit. If that wasn't an infield hit, that was a single to the gap. All right. So Buford is a 4 on his jump. Got a 9, so he is going to hang out there. Paul Blair is sorry to see Culp leave the game, but he will see what he can do against Lyle. He does have pretty good success against lefties. 8 is tough. 10 against a lefty, and he will go down swinging. Sparky Lyle gets his first out. Frank Robinson is 1 for 3 with a walk. I'd like to get another run here going into the bottom of the 9th. A little insurance would be nice. Left a lot of runners on today. 4 is patient, 84 versus the lefty. Goes all the way up to 80. Not able to do it. 84 is a ground ball to the shortstop. And his double play rating is 6. Lyles is 10. Got a 4. So that's a 6-4-3 double play. Let's see, that would be Robinson's second double play hit into this year. Let's put that in the books. 6-4 for out number 2. 6-4-3 double play for out number 3. That was his second double play hit into of the season. So Sparky Lau does his job. Mike Cuellar is coming in to see if he can finish it. He had 18 complete games and 39 starts. Looking to pick up one here. Bottom of the ninth, he's got 4, 5, and 6 to face, who so far have not been terribly impressive. Just 3 hits for the Red Sox. So Ken Harrelson. Four is patient, and that should be a walk against the lefty, and it is. So that's just the first walk of the season for Ken Harrelson. The 4th one given up by Cuellar today. So he is a 5C. And we got a 4. So if we use the automated here, he is going to try to steal. Hendricks is a 2, so that's a little risky. So I'm going to leave it up to the decider die. So does he try to steal? Yes. Alrighty. So I'm going to let it go because stranger things happen in Major League Baseball. You have to leave things open. I know Babe Ruth was thrown out to end a World Series trying to steal a base, so weird things happen. So anyway, he is a C. Hendricks is a 2, so we need a C2 here. So let's see what he does. So Harrelson probably going against his manager here. 25, and he is nailed. So he is caught stealing 2-4. And that was a poor decision by Ken Harrelson there. And he is going to get chewed out and fined by Dick Williams when he gets to the dugout. So Tony Conigliaro, we'll see if that cost him here. Six is in play, 06. And that's going to be a triple. So it did cost him. So in play 6, so 6. I used the doubles for the triples to kind of help picture what happened. So on a 6, that's a splits the gap in left center field. So it bounces out there in that crazy corner. Blair's not able to get to it. And Conigliaro is into third with a triple. So that would be his first triple of the season. Dick Williams is really giving it to Harrelson now. So Conigliaro, it's triple number 1. So that brings up George Scott. I think the Orioles are going to play back. We'll concede that 1 run. Scott's the guy we need to worry about. And the Oriole bullpen is up. They've got a very good bullpen. But let's see what Cuellar can do. His whip in real life was 1. So that's pretty impressive. George Scott is singled and walked, so he's had a pretty decent day against Cuellar. So let's see what happens. 10 is patient. 53 against the lefty is a single. So that's a 3. It's a sharp liner into center field. And the Red Sox are on the board. Well, that caught stealing really cost them because they would have had 2 runs there. So he singles in a run, his 3rd run of the year. So Rico Petrocelli is up. I think the Orioles are going to go to the bullpen here. Well, actually, Petrocelli hits righties better than he hits lefties. Wow. Decisions. I'm going to let Cuellar stay in. See if he can get Petrocelli here. Petrocelli, obviously a very dangerous hitter. With one swing of the bat, he could put the Red Sox on top. 8 is in play. 49 versus the lefty is in the out range. And that's a ground ball to third base. Got an 8. His double play is 6. So that will be Robinson to Davy Johnson at second. 5-4 for the second out. So George Scott is out 5-4 for out number 2. Fielder's choice for Petrocelli. So with 2 outs, Russ Gibson is up. I think this time they are going to pinch hit for him. Let's see. Looks like Thomas is the backup catcher, and he is the best hitter on the bench. So the Red Sox are going to throw caution to the wind. Bring in George Thomas to pinch hit for Russ Gibson. And George Thomas just kills lefties. So the Orioles might bring in a right-handed pitcher. I mean, George Thomas is probably their best bet either way. Some of the decisions you have to make when you're managing both teams, you try to be fair to both. That's why sometimes I enjoy games like Stratomatic or Replay, where you can actually, have the manager computer manage, and both of those games do a good job. But again, I enjoy the game engine of this one enough that it's worth it to me. So anyway, George Thomas is the righty. He will pinch hit. Yeah, I think the Red Sox or the Orioles got to go with their bullpen here. So it looks like Watt. Eddie Watt is their best chance. So Cuellar's not able to close the deal here. So Eddie Watt so far is no record. He's pitched an inning and a third with just 1 walk given up. So got him in the book here. Eddie Watt. The righty, so he will face George Thomas. George Thomas still very good against righties. We'll see what he can do here with 2 outs. 8 is tough. 99, and that's a fly ball out to Buford. He squeezes it, and the Red Sox go down 2-1. So I would say that the play of the game was Ken Harrelson trying to steal second base. So again, in my baseball universe, he went against Dick Williams and tried to pull something off, thought he could get there, wasn't able to do it, and was nailed. So Mike Cuellar goes to 2-0 against the Red Sox, and for the season, Ray Culp 0-2. So he takes his second loss, pitched much better this time. Eddie Watt gets his first save of the day, and the MVP would be Mike Cuellar, who pitched a whale of a game. Let's see he went 8 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. And Culp pitched a great game as well. So there you have it. So the Orioles go to 5-2. The Red Sox drop to 2-4. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.